Hey guys, welcome back to Mercury. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to turn images into multicolor coasters just like this. This uses the Bambu Lab AMS and it's completely flush, all on the same layer, and then on the back side it's just blank. So without further ado, let's get started. So first things first, we're going to have to select a vector image. If you don't have a vector image already, you can just use a raster image like I have right here. And you can use this website called Adobe Express. And all you have to do is drag and drop your raster image and it turns it into an SVG file. And then you can load that into something like Adobe Illustrator or Inkscape. Inkscape is free if you want to use that. So we can download the SVG. And now that we have our SVG file, we can go into Adobe Illustrator or Inkscape. We'll make a 100mm canvas because that's the size that we want our coaster to be. I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop our SVG file, and then I'll grab it, I'll copy it into our 100mm file, and now all we have to do is export this as a DXF file. And then make sure your units are correct in here. And with that, we can hop into Fusion 360. Alright, so hopping into Fusion 360, we can go ahead and create a new sketch, and we'll go ahead and insert our DXF file. That looks good, so I'll click OK. And now the first thing we want to do is we want to make the cylinder that's going to make the overall coaster. So overall, I want it to be 2mm thick, so I'm going to finish the sketch and select everything except for these corners. And I'm just holding shift to deselect those. And then I'm going to extrude this 2mm. But because I want the sketch to be on top of this and we have text on it, I'm actually going to do -2mm. And so that gets rid of our sketch, but we can click on this triangle and then the eyeball, and that brings our sketch back. And now all we have to do is do the inset. So we'll go back to the extrude tool, and we're going to click on everything that we want to be white. So essentially, the base of the coaster is going to be black in this case, and then all of the little accents are going to be in white. So I'll click on all of the white pieces. Alright, and now that that's all done, we're going to go ahead and extrude this, again, a negative distance because we want it to go backwards. And I'm going to do 0.6mm just because I'm going to do a layer height of 0.2, and that'll be about 3 layers. So that's going to be cut operation. We'll click OK. And now if you wanted to do just a simple layer height color swap, you'd be done. This is all you have to do. But because we want to use the AMS to make it completely flush, I'm going to do basically the exact same extrude operation again in reverse. So I'm going to extrude. I'm going to click on everything I clicked on before. And then the distance for this is going to be exactly the same, -0.6mm. And it's going to default to make this a join operation, but what we really want is it to be a new component. So we'll select new component and then OK. We can hide our old sketch, and I'm just going to rename this component to white. And then the other piece, this is the black piece that's like the base of the coaster. We'll make this into a component as well. And I'll just go ahead and name this black. And if you want to show the colors in Fusion 360, the only way I know how to do this is right click in here and go to appearance. And then I like to go down into the paint tab, and you can just drag and drop the color that you want on here. And so that's what our finished coaster should look like. So now all we have to do is export each of these bodies. So each color has its own component. So we can right click this one and save as mesh. And we'll right click this one and save as mesh. If you had more than 2 colors, you're more than welcome to just repeat this exact same process. But I only have 2 colors for today. And with that, we're all set with Fusion 360, and we can hop into Bambu Studio or your slicer of choice. Alright, so here in Bambu Studio, I'm just going to drag and drop both of those files at the exact same time, and it's going to ask me if I want to load them as a single object with multiple parts. I'm going to click yes, and that basically aligns everything automatically, so you don't have to do anything. Now, to change the colors, you have to go into the Objects tab over here, and you can select, by either double-clicking on the number, and you can change that to whichever color you want, or you can actually just use the number keys on your keyboard. So if I press 2, it'll set this to 2 or 3, whichever, but I want this one to be white. And then another trick that I can show you is if you want to use the textured PEI build plate on your printer, it does leave a really nice texture on the final part. And so what you can do is you can lay this on the top face, and so that will be on the print platform. It'll still be facing the correct orientation, but it'll just be a little bit textured and kind of sparkly. I'll go ahead and change my layer height, just so I get 3 layers out of that. Looks pretty good. One last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the wall generator from classic to Arachne, just because it varies the line width dynamically instead of keeping it all the same. We'll slice that again. It looks really good, so let's send it to the printer and see how it turns out.
One print later.
Alrighty, and here we have the final print. Let me make myself a little bit bigger here. I did print it face down with the textured PEI build plate, so it's a little bit sparkly and nice. I really love how it turned out. The only thing I would change is maybe add another top layer just because I can see the infill through it. And if you set a hot coffee mug on it, it would probably melt. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments down below. And happy printing!